Alright, in this podcast we're going to look at the conversion between grams and moles, or moles and grams. So if we look at the conversion factors, what we have is the periodic table that tells us how to do this conversion. So what we know, let's say for instance, is any 1 mole of any substance, let's say element X, is going to be equal to some number of grams that's listed on the periodic table. Tells us how many grams of that element we have. Okay, so we're going to use the molar mass, which tells us how many grams there are in any 1 mole of a substance. Alright, so here's a problem. How many moles are in 100 grams of potassium? Okay, so what I have as my given is I have 100 grams of potassium. And I can look for my conversion on the periodic table, and here it is, 39.10 grams. 39.10 grams of potassium is 1 mole of potassium. If I set it up right, I cancel my units of grams of potassium and grams of potassium, and I end up with 100 times 1 divided by 39.10, and I get 2.56 moles of potassium. So remember, our sig figs are going to be consistent with, and there was a dot here, consistent with our given. And because there were 3 sig figs here, 100 point, I'm going to have 3 sig figs in my answer. Alright, let's take a look at a problem going the opposite way. Here we have a certain number of moles. We need to figure out the grams. So how many grams are in 15 moles of butane? So I'm going to say I have, my given is 15 moles of butane, which is C4H10, and I can figure out for 1 mole of butane how many grams that is, right? And I do that using what I know about how to find molar mass. 1 mole of carbon is 12.01 grams per mole, and hydrogen, I have 10 of those, and each of those weighs 1.01 grams. If I multiply 4 times 12.01, I get 48.04 grams. 10 times 1.01 is going to give me 10.10 grams from hydrogen. I add those up and I get 58.14 grams. Okay, so I can plug that in here. 58, let's close that. 58.14 grams of butane. I can cancel out my moles of butane and I'm left with grams. If I multiply 15 times 58.1, I get 872, and I'm going to stop there, right, because I've got 3 sig figs here and I need 3 sig figs in my answer, grams of butane. And that's going to do it.